that? Owning the past or rewriting the future?
Owning the past.
Why?
We're talking about history in general or mine? Me personally.
I mean, really, any of it. Just your concept around, maybe more so
Around time?
Around time.
Time is.
Oh my gosh, I've been so into
everything.
time lately. Oh, yo, gosh, man. Yeah. Literally, this time thing.
Look at.
I love that you. Literally.
Look at. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Keke girl, you have an unnatural allegiance to weirdos. You have an unnatural allegiance to abusers. And I want to support you so bad, but I can't.
I hope you all are doing well. And if you're joining for the very first time, thank you so much for tuning in. First, it was Sherry Shepherd. It was Sherry Shepherd interviewing Johnathan Major. And you guys know how the conversation went, how people literally were so pissed at the fact that they were giving someone who is known to be an abuser a space, like a safe space or some, like just literally platforming them and not making them take accountability. Then Keke Palmer announced that she was going to be having Johnathan Major on our podcast. Some people were even thinking maybe she was going to be putting out the very hard question. Like a lot of people were even saying that for Telemann to kind of call you out for your interview, like that is the bottom of the bottom. You guys, Keke Palmer is on the chopping block. He's receiving tons of backlash for bringing Johnathan Major on her podcast talking about accountability. The people are not here for it because this seems like they are siding with the abuser, and this is not something that a lot of people are going to have with. So she has been on the chopping block. People have been commenting about it. People have been dragging it. She no longer put out the episode, but then it's already viral. It's already all over the internet, and people were talking about it. So without wasting much time, let's just get straight into it.
Everybody's surprised about Keke Palmer putting Johnathan Majors on her podcast to talk about accountability. Mind you, the victim, the person who that Johnathan Majors admitted to on audio, isn't present. But unfortunately, I am not surprised, right? Because when we look at this from a surface level perspective, we can see that something is severely wrong when Keke Palmer brings up R. Kelly in that interview, in that video interview, and then Charlamagne looks at Keke Palmer like she's lost her mind, right? Something is severely wrong when that happens. Something is severely wrong when Charlamagne is the responsible person in the room in that scenario. Something is really wrong, like on a surface level alone, when Charlamagne is being the responsible one. When Charlamagne, of all fucking people, is looking at you like you've lost your mind in regards to bringing up R. Kelly unprovoked and singing his praises unprovoked. Something is really wrong there, yeah. But if we really want to break this down into something historical, we can see that this exists in the context of rape and sexual assault not being taken as seriously as lynchings were during the antebellum period or post-Reconstruction period, right? This sense that because lynchings were visible, they took up the more important burden of race, whereas rape and sexual assault was invisible and it was more associated with private humiliation, whereas lynchings were more associated with public humiliation, right? And in that same sense, rape and sexual assault took up the less important burden of gender. That's why it wasn't taken as seriously, and you still see the effects of that to this day. Word to Patricia Hill Collins, Black Sexual Politics. And to that point, because Johnathan Majors assaulted a white woman and admitted to it, mind you, you had a lot of people that tried to save his image through lynching euphemisms, right? And the same thing occurred in regards to Clarence Thomas assaulting Anita Hill, right? These people proclaim the more important burden of race, whereas something like rape and sexual assault, it's more invisible, it's more associated with private humiliation, and it takes up the less important burden of gender that our society doesn't take seriously. And it's really sad that people within the Black community are still moving with this type of framework, especially when we talk about someone like Keke Palmer, who has been assaulted herself by people such as Trey Songz. And something that's also interesting is when you bring in sexuality into the conversation, right? Because these same Black people within our community that are trying to save Johnathan Majors' face and image are the exact same people that clown Johnathan Majors for wearing a pink jacket that one time, right? So I'm saying all this to say that if Johnathan Majors continued with that image, would he be getting saved by the black community, by people within the black community right now? Would his image and face be trying to get saved right now if he continued with that image? Yeah, and I think you know the answer to that question.
Oh, definitely. The damage has definitely been done with Keke Palmer. I don't know if I could ever really look at her the same after I saw them videos of her defending R. Kelly like that. Which is the first time that I had really seen them. Once that video of her sitting in R. Kelly lap hit the timeline, I was like, ooh, girl, this is not the move. This is not it. But I feared they may be too late. So before the episode was scrapped, I think clips were released in order to promote the episode. And this one is making its rounds on Twitter, where Keke Palmer and Johnathan Majors are playing either or. I already knew this episode wasn't going to be serious, at least from a journalistic perspective, and like having Johnathan Majors like take accountability for his like DV. But then the second thing, because Keke Palmer's podcast is produced by Wondery, people who subscribe to Wondery Plus had an opportunity to watch the full interview before it was scrapped. There are some people who have seen the full episode out there and have actually listened to it, and there is somebody who posted the cliff notes on Twitter. This is the post, and then here's the full thing, pause to read. Also noting, because I totally forgot about this, Johnathan Majors has a daughter. Exactly. At the end, they say it's basically a bunch of words sounded like the Sherry Shepherd interview, so there we have it.
Good morning. I just have one question that I want y'all to marinate on. Based on what we know about Keke Palmer, why are y'all surprised? I know we love Keke Palmer. We love her one-liners. She's been entertaining us for a very long time. We know that. And this is not to downplay none of the things she's done, said, contributed, none of that. We all know that lady is extremely talented. We have all supported her, and we all love Keke Palmer. We all love Keke Palmer, okay? This is not a hate thing at all. But let's just be, can we just be honest? Can we just be real for 2 seconds? Based on what we know about Keke Palmer, are you really surprised? And then I have a follow-up question that could be seen as little... I don't... do I want to ask it? How would she feel if someone platformed her abuser? How would she feel if someone put a mic in front of her son's father's face and said, come tell us why you're so sorry? And I know that might be a messed up question to ask, but it's a real one. And it's the question I ask y'all all the time. Why are you okay with someone else's abuser just because they're not your abuser? Why are we still listening to R. Kelly just because he ain't abused one of your kids? You see what I'm saying? Like, I love Keke Palmer. I love her. But I'm not surprised by this. If you know some of her takes before, if you just peel back the onion a little bit and just think about some of her takes she's had in the past. Y'all have a good day.
So it looks like Keke Palmer has scrapped the episode with Johnathan Majors. It was supposed to air today, but it looks like it has been replaced with an episode featuring Cash Doll. Interesting. So this is coming after an entire week of backlash since like about April 1st is when that episode was announced. Since then, the Breakfast Club interview that she did also is going viral, where she's defending R. Kelly and a bunch of other cringy and weird posts. All in the same week that one of them days is released on Netflix. So it hasn't really been a good week for her. But I think it's good to hear that the episode looks like has been scrapped. Hopefully the episode isn't pushed back and like released on a later date, and that it just never sees the light of day. Because why are we still giving Johnathan Majors a platform?
Keke Palmer deciding to platform Johnathan Majors is an example of how we do not allow the men in our community to face the consequences of their actions. Society's projection onto us as women, as caregivers, creates a shadow side to our personality. The toxic healer. Like us as Black women, we have this egoic side of us that believes that we can heal anything, anybody, any situation. But what we do not understand is that sometimes stepping back and allowing people to fall on their face hard is the only way that they can heal. There's this misunderstanding that people can't heal themselves, that Black men are incapable of healing themselves, that Black men are incapable of doing right, that Black men are incapable of evolving, that we have to step in. It is an illusion to think that you are the one healing someone, when in actuality, they heal because they want to. It's their decision. It's a personal decision to heal. It's an illusion to think that you're the one doing the healing. Please allow Johnathan Majors to hit rock bottom. Allow him to hit rock bottom so that he can transform and become a better person. Please.
I just saw an interview with Keke Palmer where she's defending R. Kelly. That's crazy. Now, this clip is obviously old because it's The Breakfast Club and Angela Yee is on there, and I had never watched The Breakfast Club, so I never seen this. But she literally brought up R. Kelly unprovoked to give him props. Like, they weren't talking about R. Kelly. She brought him up to give him props. And they called her out. Imagine getting called out by Charlamagne. They called her out like, girl, R. Kelly? Really? Angela Yee and Charlamagne. And she's sitting up here like, no, but those girls were grown. No, they started talking to him at 14. And then they said he was grooming them. Grooming? And then it's like, and then Angela Yee says, what about Aaliyah? He married Aaliyah at 15. It definitely gives energy that Keke Palmer is the type of person who will call a little girl fast, a 12-year-old fast, because her mom's 35-year-old boyfriend was trying to have relations with her. She would call the little girl fast. And it's so crazy to me when victims victim blame. Because remember when she tried to, tell her story about Trey Songz, nobody believed her. Nobody believed her when she said Trey Songz was making her feel uncomfortable and was trying to sexually assault her. They were saying Trey Songz don't want no Keke Palmer. Just for years later, multiple women to have the same allegations against him, and then everybody's like, oh, I guess she wasn't lying. Like, so for somebody to have their experience discredited and you turn around and do the same thing to somebody who experienced the same thing as you, it's one thing to say that you still listen to R. Kelly, that's your prerogative, but let's not negate what he has done. Two things can be true. You can say that he's very talented, but he still did what he did. He still was talking to little girls. He still was having relations with little girls. Even him being a victim of abuse, he still was talking to.
Why is everybody acting shocked that Keke Palmer is having Johnathan Majors on her show talking about accountability and forgiveness and moving on? Is this or is this not the same woman that had some sort of word of support or encouragement for R. Kelly when he was being convicted of abusing children? Is this not the same Keke? And is this the same Keke that when that video was going around of her baby daddy knocking her head between the washer and the dryer, didn't she tell us to mind our business? I don't know, guys. It feels to me that she has a clear, documented history of supporting abusers. That's kind of her thing. I don't know, me personally, it's a reason I've never spoken on Keke Palmer. It's because I don't really like her. I'd never feel comfortable saying that because everybody loves Keke Palmer and because she's gorgeous, she's hilarious. Keke is good for a good Keke. But as far as a moral compass and a person who I believe is a good person on the inside, it never gave that to me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think she's terrible. She's not the worst of the worst, but I just can't imagine what would possess somebody to support R. Kelly. I personally, I'm not looking past that. That was crazy to me. So her showing her true colors now, I mean, she's just being who she's always been. And nobody should be surprised.
So many news came out about Johnathan Major, from his wedding to his new movie, literally just this whole rebranding thing about him going on, down to a recording going on, and there has been so many interviews that he has been on. First, it was Sherry Shepherd. People were so pissed about that because she was even trying to say that he's a role model to her son, after literally calling out Megan Thee Stallion, saying her clothes is not good, that she is a role model to some girls as well. And if you know the story of Keke Palmer and her baby daddy as well, you will understand why people are so angry at the fact that she could even platform someone who is known to be an abuser. People cannot just phantom why she had to do that and why she had to bring this man on her podcast. Let me hear what you think about what the people were saying. This person said, mind you, she had just got done talking about Trey Songz in the same interview, something is wrong with her, and her baby daddy was assaulting her last year. This one said, someone in her life is always pushing her to forgive. There's a reason she can't stand up for herself and keeps being attracted to this type of relationship. This is a narcissist somewhere. Another one said, it is the way people are so shocked. Victims, unless they have really sat with the abuse they experience and recognize cycles and patterns in abuse, tend to enable other abusers. This one said it's not surprising that she would defend R. Kelly and interview Majors, considering what she has gone through and internalized with her baby father and Trey Songz. The last one I have here says she didn't defend R. Kelly. She said that is not the R. Kelly that she knew. He never showed her that side of him. Then later on, after hearing details, she didn't claim him. When the whole situation of Keke Palmer and her baby daddy was all over the internet, like people literally stood by her, people were so supportive, people were supporting her and all of that. No boy, they have a child together just for like maybe few weeks or few months, and then they are back together. And I think this has well got people talking like, you know what, you just cannot save someone that does not want to be saved. Having, you know, a black woman literally giving platform to someone who is known to be an abuser can actually be triggering. Let me hear what you guys think about this whole conversation, because from the stitches, I'm sure a lot of us can agree that people are not having it. And the fact that Talaman the God was the one even calling her out, people were so surprised about that. That comment has been killing me, you guys. Let me hear what you think in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation there. I will see you guys in the next one.